This is live from New Delhi. You're watching TT India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and coming up in the next 30 minutes. France and Germany voice concern over Donald Trump's Greenland comments. European Union says it will not tolerate attack on its borders. In US, thousands evacuated as fast-growing wildfires devastate Southern California amid harsh winds. 18th Prasar Bharati Divas kickstarts in temple city of Bhubaneswar. India's External Affairs Minister says India's diaspora is key to globalization. In developing news, US President-elect Donald Trump is considering declaring a national economic emergency to provide legal justification for a series of universal tariffs on allies and adversaries. CNN reported on Wednesday, citing sources familiar with the matter. According to the report, the move will allow Trump to build a new tariff program by using the International Economic Emergency Powers Act, which authorizes a president to manage imports during a national emergency. Trump, who is a Republican who will take office on January 20th, has vowed to impose tariffs of 10% on global imports into the US, along with 60% tariff on Chinese goods. He has also said that he would impose a 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican imports on his first day in office. So earlier, Donald Trump declined to rule out military or economic actions as part of his avowed desire to have the United States take control of Greenland as well as the Panama Canal, calling both critical to American national security. Greenland, which has a population of just 57,000, is world's largest island and is a strategically important part of the Arctic region. It has wide-ranging autonomy, but its economy is largely dependent on subsidies from Copenhagen, and it remains part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Greenland is also home to a large American space facility and has some of the largest deposits of rare earth minerals, which are crucial in the manufacture of batteries and high-tech devices. President-elect Donald Trump has also vowed to use economic force when asked if he would attempt to annex Canada and called their shared border an artificially drawn line, on which the outgoing Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that there isn't a snowball's chance in hell of the two countries merging. France on Wednesday warned Donald Trump against threatening the sovereign borders of the European Union. France's foreign minister has said that he did not believe the US would invade the vast Arctic island that has been part of the Denmark for over 600 years.
Si vous m'interrogez, je pense.
You're asking me if I think the United States will invade Greenland? The answer is no. Have we entered an era that sees the return of the survivals of the fittest? The answer is yes. And so, should we let ourselves be intimidated? Should we let worry take over? Of course not.
L'inquiétude, évidemment que non.
Well, Germany has taken serious note of United States President-elect Donald Trump's statements about Greenland and Canada and has said that borders must not be moved by force. The German government spokesperson said in response to Trump's remarks that borders must not be moved by force, pointing to some sort of international agreements such as the UN Charter. Also, to talk on the development and to chalk out the possible strategy, Greenland Prime Minister will meet Denmark's King Frederik Copenhagen on Wednesday. Greenland's leader has stated that the island is not for sale, while in his New Year speech he stepped up a push for independence from Denmark. Denmark also says the territory is not for sale and that its fate can be decided only by Greenlanders. In 2019, Trump cancelled a planned visit to Denmark after Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen rebuffed his idea of the US purchasing Greenland. Greenland has been part of Denmark for 600 years and now controls most of its own domestic affairs as a semi-sovereign territory under the Danish realm. Elon Musk's meddling in European affairs in countries like the UK and Germany has sparked a debate about political interference, freedom of expression and the influence of tech giants. In Germany, Musk supported the far-right party and is expected to meet its leader this week for the online talk on platform X. His comments supporting the far-right have been met with criticism and concern by most political parties. This comes as Germany prepares for its federal election next month. French President Emmanuel Macron has targeted Musk for his involvement in European politics, accusing Musk of intervening directly in elections across the continent. Macron highlighted concerns over Musk's support for Germany's far-right AfD party. Referring to Musk's France's foreign minister has said that the European Commission must use its existing legislation in much tougher manner.
Musk speaks in public debate in some European electoral debates. It's to make buzz or publicity, which is extremely regrettable. Or he's doing so with the supposition of new alliances with the far right, like the AfD in Germany, in which case the American Republican Party should own up to linking its destiny with that of such a party which represents everything the Republican Party has always fought against.
India is showcasing areas of opportunity in their motherland to its diaspora living abroad during the 18th edition of Prasar Bharati Divas Convention, which commenced in Odisha's Bhubaneswar on Wednesday. Now, this year's Prasar Bharati Divas, or the Overseas Indian Day, promises to be a landmark event, weaving together the themes of heritage, innovation and global engagement in the spiritual and cultural heartland of India. The theme this year is Diaspora's Contribution to a Viksit Bharat, that is developed India. The format of the convention was revised in 2015 and since then it is held every alternate year. Celebrated to mark contribution of overseas Indian community, the conventions provide platform for government to engage overseas Indians. The Government of India organizes Prasar Bharati Divas in partnership with one of the state governments. 15th Prasar Bharati Divas convention was held in UP, while the 16th edition was held virtually due to COVID pandemic. The 17th Prasar Bharati Divas convention was held in Madhya Pradesh, where Indian President honoured around 30 Indian diaspora members with Prasar Bharati Samman Award. The awardees represent excellence achieved by diaspora in various fields. Ahead of which, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, along with other dignitaries, attended the Youth Convention in Bhubaneswar. The customary conclave of the younger generation was part of the PBD celebrations and is a testimony to their vital role and significant contribution in the building of Viksit Bharat and India's global image. Speaking at an inauguration of which, Minister Jaishankar emphasized on the role of youth being paramount in the development of the country.
At a time when so many key developments in the world are being shaped by this younger generation, whether we talk of AI or EV, innovation or startups, space or drones, sports, chess, cricket, there is all the more reason to do so. We have just started our journey towards Viksit Bharat in the Amrit Kal. This is an endeavor that is very much about the future generation.
Further, the External Affairs Minister also underscored the influence of India's youth in global advancements, echoing the impact of Prime Minister Modi's leadership.
Observation by a famous Indian badminton player, P.V. Sindhu, on why Prime Minister Modi is a youth icon. She summed it up as his attitude, which moved the nation from chalta hai to badal sakta hai to hoga kaise nahi. Indeed, it is this very spirit which has driven our achievements in recent years.
Later, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar also addressed the Prasar Bharati business leaders on the sidelines of the event. He urged people of Indian origin to promote India as tourism destination, adding that India will be unique in terms of a major rising power and diaspora can contribute extensively towards this goal.
India will be unique in terms of a major power rising, which has actually used is using and will continue to use its diaspora as a very important pathway for its globalization and for its rise in the international order. Our Prime Minister often talks of 3 T's when it comes to evaluating foreign policy. The 3 T's are trade, technology, and tourism. Trade with and from Odisha, technology and tourism. These are really very important dimensions of what the state has to offer.
On Thursday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be inaugurating the 18th edition of Prasar Bharati Divas Convention. Overseas Indian Day is being organized since 2003 to celebrate the contributions of the Indian diaspora to the growth and development of the nation. Chief guest of the event, the President of Trinidad and Tobago, Christine Carla Kangaloo, will be addressing the convention virtually. Prime Minister Modi will also virtually flag off the first special tourist train of the Indian diaspora, the Prasar Bharati Express. The train will depart from Nizamuddin railway station in Delhi, covering multiple destinations of tourist and religious importance. While President Draupadi Murmu will be addressing the valedictory session of the Prasar Bharati Samman on Friday, Honorable President will also confer the Prasar Bharati Samman Award to the overseas Indians to recognize their outstanding achievements both in India and abroad. On the occasion of Prasar Bharati Divas 2025, renowned sand artist Doordarshan Patnaik showcased his sand art at Janata Maidan in Bhubaneswar. He said that this is a tribute to all delegates and esteemed guests, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Youth Prasar Bharati Divas was organized in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. DD India's Amritpal Singh caught up with the youth from diaspora at the convention in Bhubaneswar. Take a look.
As the Yuva Pravasi Bharatiya Divas was inaugurated by the External Affairs Minister and the Union Minister for Sports and Youth Affairs, Mansukh Mandviya, the conversation changed from the larger diaspora to how youth can be a part of India's growth story, how their aspirations, their ambitious aspirations can meet strong foundations as the government of India tries to engage with the youth, especially in the diaspora. I have 2 youngsters with me. First of all, could you tell me what your name is?
I'm Avikshit Sailupadhyay. Okay. I am 18 years old and I've just completed my IB diploma from Amity Global School.
All right. So how do you think the youth can be part of the India growth story?
I think the youth, inherently, because it's the people who are going to continue the future and take care of the rest of the future work that the country is working on. It's inherent to all of us to be able to collaborate together with, regardless of whether you're in India or abroad. So I think a forum like this is really helpful for all of us to improve the growth, because we'll be able to connect and make connections with the youth.
Do you think the youth, given their ambitions, given the broad visions, given that they don't think in a restricted manner, does that resonate with the pace at which India is growing?
No, I think it's better we think freely. It helps us grow. We see things that the older generation might not see. It is that's what makes us better. That's what will help this generation grow.
So clearly, there are ambitions in the youth, as the External Affairs Minister said today, that the youth can be part, and the government is looking at providing that framework to partner with the youth amongst the diaspora for a mutually beneficial relationship. With cameraman Sanjay Jaina, this is Amritpal Singh at the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas in Bhubaneswar for DD India.
In Andhra Pradesh, Prime Minister Modi laid foundation stone for a major green hydrogen project in Puddimadaka. The project will contribute substantially in achieving India's non-fossil energy capacity target of 500 gigawatt by 2030. Prime Minister also dedicated to the nation laid the foundation stone and inaugurated various railway and road projects, which include foundation stone laying of South Coast Railway headquarters at Visakhapatnam, among various other projects. Prime Minister also laid the foundation for the Bulk Park in Anakapalli district and Krishnapatnam industrial area in Tirupati district of down south Andhra Pradesh. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi received a very warm welcome by hundreds and thousands who gathered upon the arrival in the city of Visakhapatnam. A sea of people came out to meet Prime Minister during his roadshow in the city. Prime Minister was accompanied by State Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu and Deputy Chief Minister Pawan Kalyan. And still to come on DD India Live on the other side. One body has been recovered as efforts continue to rescue trapped miners resume in India's Assam, the northeast Assam. We'll get you the details on that story. And rehearsals for the 77th Indian Army Day Parade are in full swing at Pune in the Indian state of Maharashtra.
झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
जिंदगी की हर छोटी बड़ी जरूरत के लिए आप जो सपने सजाते हैं बस उसी उम्मीद को तो हम सहारा लगाते हैं। SIP आपकी सेविंग्स को आपकी खातिर काम पर लगाएगी। आज ही अपनी पहली SIP की शुरुआत करें। अधिक जानकारी के लिए अपने वित्तीय सलाहकार से परामर्श करें। LIC म्यूचुअल फंड द्वारा निवेशक शिक्षा की एक पहल।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार के जोखिम के अधीन है। योजना से संबंधित सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Sakhal Bhatt, and now let's move on, shifting focus to some news coming from South Korea, where suspended President Yoon Suk Yeol faces a new and potentially more robust attempt to arrest him on insurrection charges after a top investigator vowed to do whatever it takes to break a security blockade and take in the impeached leader. Protesters, both supporting and opposing to the embattled Yoon, continued to brave freezing temperatures to stage rallies in the streets around the presidential compound on Wednesday after a court reissued an arrest warrant to Yoon on Tuesday. Yoon is under criminal investigation for insurrection over his December 3rd martial law bid that stunned South Korea and led to the first arrest warrant to be issued for a sitting president. He is also involved in a separate constitutional court trial over his December 14 impeachment for violating his constitutional duties with a late-night martial law declaration. India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and his Maldivian counterpart Mohammad Ghassan Mamoon held delegation-level talks in New Delhi on Wednesday. During the talks, the two leaders reviewed the various facets of the bilateral defence cooperation, including training, regular exercise, defence projects, workshops and seminars to enhance the capabilities of the Maldives National Defence Forces as well as supply of defence equipment and stores. Top military brass from both sides participated in the meeting. In his opening remarks, the Defence Minister of India, Rajnath Singh, declared that all military cooperation to Maldives and also spoke about the strong historic bonds the two nations cherish.
India has been offering avenues of capacity building to Maldives in all the fields of defence cooperation, including training, regular exercises, workshops and seminars to enhance capability of the Maldives National Defence Forces, as well as supply of the defence equipment and stores. It would be important to ensure that we continue the same momentum. India will continue to support Maldives and the Maldives National Defence Force in their capacity building efforts through projects, equipment and training. As a trusted partner and a close friend, I assure you that India will continue to support Maldives on its development needs and the welfare of its people.
Appreciating the military support of India, the Defence Minister of Maldives spoke about the diplomatic and military support extended by India. This includes the prompt support extended by India during the coup in 1988 and during the pandemic recently.
I take this opportunity to express our profound gratitude to the Indian government for its invaluable contributions to the Maldives National Defence Force. Following the tragic events of November 3, 1988, India's swift and decisive support helped us preserve our nation's sovereignty during a time of crisis. Moreover, India's significant role transforming the MNDF from a ceremonial force into a fully fledged military force is a testament to the strength of our partnership.
Over 400 people trapped by rubble in earthquake-stricken Tibet have been rescued by thousands of rescuers on Wednesday. At least 126 people were known to have been killed and 188 injured on the Tibetan side. Meanwhile, no deaths have been reported in Nepal or elsewhere. According to the data from the US Geological Survey, the magnitude of 7.1 earthquake was also felt in Nepal and parts of India on Tuesday morning. The 17th edition of Arab Plast, West Asia's premier trade exhibition for plastics and petrochemicals, is opened in Dubai, with India emerging as the key player in sustainable manufacturing. The three-day event features over 750 exhibitors across 12 international pavilions, focusing on innovations in plastics, recycling and petrochemicals. India's delegation, led by Plex Council, includes 125 companies, marking a 70% increase in participation. Highlighting India's growing role, Plex Council Chairman Vikram Baduria noted that the opportunities under the India-UAE CEPA with Indian plastic exports to the UAE is valued at $620 million.
India has signed the CEPA treaty with the UAE, and we expect this region, our exports to this region and the trade between the two countries to exponentially grow in the coming years. If I give you some figures, UAE currently imports around plastic products of around $10 billion yearly from Saudi Arabia, from USA and from China. Whereas from India, our trade exports into UAE are only at around $620 billion. There is an immense opportunity that we have here in UAE, and especially now with the CEPA treaty. Also, if you look at the global trade, if you see our share in the global trade for the plastic industry from India is only at around 1.5%. So globally also, India has a long way to go in exports of plastics from the country. UAE that way offers a very good logistics hub from where you can transfer your products into Europe and transfer your products into Africa.
Sri Lanka's central bank has unveiled its 2025 policy agenda, prioritizing inflation stabilization at a 5% target under the flexible inflation targeting framework. The bank highlighted its success in restoring economic stability through effective monetary policies and now aims to foster medium-term growth. While deflationary trends are expected to continue into early 2025 due to temporary supply-side adjustments, inflation is projected to stabilize in the latter half of the year as supply pressures ease and accommodative policies remain in place. Let's get you some latest update from Assam coal mine mishap, with the body of one of the 9 miners trapped inside a flooded coal mine in Dima Hasao district of Assam was recovered by a diving team of the Indian Navy on Wednesday. Rehearsals for the 77th Indian Army Day Parade are in full swing at Pune in the Indian state of Maharashtra. This year, among the highlights is the Women Agniveer contingent, symbolizing the increased role of women in the armed forces. The Indian Army will celebrate the 77th Army Day on January 15th in Pune. Well, Mahakumbh 2025 is around the corner, and DD India's Siddharth Bhardwaj takes stock of the fire safety arrangements put in place by the administration so that the mega event takes place smoothly without any untoward incident.
Mahakumbh 2025, the largest religious gathering in the world, where around 450 million people are expected to come. And when it comes to such a large gathering, the security is paramount. In fact, the security comes first, especially when it comes to fire safety. We are here at a temporary camp set up by the fire department. They say they have all the necessary equipment and they have trained personnel to make sure that this gathering remains peaceful and safe. Well, this is a very unique vehicle. It's called ATV, or any terrain vehicle. But why? Look at the tires of ATV. These are the specially built tires, especially for the muddy areas, because the Mahakumbh 2025, where people will come at the banks of Holy River, the area there is a muddy area. So in case of fire, not every vehicle can go and can respond in that particular situation. So that is why the ATV, or any terrain vehicle, it can go into the muddy areas and it can get the quick response in case of any fire situation.
We have a total of 50 fire stations and 20 fire posts in Kumbh Mela area for safety purpose. And we deployed around 350 different type of vehicles to meet out any kind of untoward situations. And our Jawan is well trained from the other agencies. Around 2,000 plus Jawan is deployed for Kumbh Mela. And we have the capacity to meet out any kind of disaster and fire emergencies.
A total of around 131.48 crore has been allocated for fire safety, enabling the deployment of around 351 firefighting vehicles and 50 plus fire stations. Over 2,000 trained personnel are there to make sure that everything goes in a smooth line manner. So the preparations are in full swing, along with security measures which are tight to make sure that the world's largest gathering remains peaceful, safe and secure. With camera person Rakesh Kumar, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
Well, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. So we will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Sakal Bhatt, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.